Hello, I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and today I want to reveal something that might surprise you. That salad you consider healthy could be silently compromising your memory. Yes, you heard that right. If you're over 60 or know someone in this age group, you need to understand that not all vegetables are allies to your brain. Some can accelerate cognitive decline, while others have the power to reverse neurological damage. Did you know that? Probably not, and that's why I've prepared this special content for you today. If you're past 60 and have noticed difficulties remembering names, finding words during conversations, or forgetting where you placed everyday objects, pay close attention. What you put on your plate today will determine how your brain functions in the coming years. And before you think, oh, but this is just normal aging, let me tell you, many symptoms we consider a natural part of aging can be minimized or even reversed with the right food choices. Science has discovered that our brain, especially after the sixth decade of life, becomes more vulnerable to oxidative stress and inflammation. This happens because the natural protection mechanisms begin to lose efficiency with age. But here's the good news. Certain vegetables contain neuroactive compounds that can cross the blood-brain barrier, directly influencing neuron health and the production of essential neurotransmitters for memory, such as acetylcholine. In simple terms, what you eat can literally feed your brain or accelerate it toward premature aging. Let me share with you the case of Maria, a 67-year-old patient who began noticing concerning memory lapses. During a consultation, her neurologist asked about her diet, which seemed healthy. "I eat salads every day," she proudly responded. At first, this seemed excellent, right? Who doesn't associate salads with a healthy lifestyle? But after a detailed analysis of her diet, the doctor identified that Maria was primarily consuming vegetables with high inflammatory indices and low antioxidant content. She was filling her plate with options that, although green, didn't offer the nutrients her brain needed. After simple adjustments to her food choices in just 3 months, she reported, "It's as if a fog had dissipated from my mind." Can you imagine that sensation? Like suddenly mental clarity returning after years of gradual confusion. Now, let's talk about the vegetables that might be harming your brain without you realizing it. First, iceberg lettuce. Surprisingly, this popular vegetable offers very little nutritional value. With extremely low levels of antioxidants and neuroprotective nutrients, it occupies space on your plate that could be filled with more beneficial options. It's almost like drinking water with a small amount of fiber. Recent studies show that elderly people who predominantly consume iceberg lettuce as their source of green leaves score lower on cognitive tests compared to those who consume more nutritious leaves. You might be thinking, but I always thought any vegetable was good for me. Unfortunately, when it comes to brain nutrition, quality matters much more than quantity. The second group of vegetables that might be silently compromising your cognition are those rich in artificial nitrates. Some vegetables grown with excessive chemical fertilizers, especially those that aren't organic, can contain high levels of these compounds. Artificial nitrates, when consumed frequently, can compromise cerebral blood circulation and increase oxidative stress, both risk factors for dementia. Research from Harvard University, one of the world's most respected institutions, associates excessive consumption of these compounds with a 23% higher risk of accelerated cognitive decline. Have you ever thought about the origin of the vegetables you consume? This information could make all the difference for your brain after 60. The third type is vegetables from the nightshade family, particularly for sensitive people. Eggplants, tomatoes, and peppers contain solanine, an alkaloid that can trigger inflammatory processes in genetically predisposed individuals. After 60, this sensitivity tends to increase and can manifest as brain fog and concentration difficulties. A comprehensive study with 200 elderly people identified that 17% showed significant improvements in cognition when they reduced these vegetables from their diet. Of course, not everyone is sensitive to solanine, but if you feel your mind becomes more clouded after consuming these foods, it might be a sign that your body is trying to tell you something important. But don't worry, because now we'll talk about vegetables that are true allies to your brain, capable of protecting and even improving your cognitive function after 60. Dark green leaves top our list. Spinach, kale, arugula, and watercress are true neuroprotective shields. Did you know these vegetables are rich in lutein, folate, and vitamin K? These nutrients stimulate neurogenesis, the formation of new brain cells, and strengthen synaptic connections. This means your brain can form new connections and keep existing ones functioning better. Researchers from the University of Illinois discovered something extraordinary. Daily consumption of a portion of dark green leaves can delay cognitive decline by up to 11 years. Imagine adding more than a decade of brain health simply by including these leaves in your daily meals. Seems too good to be true, doesn't it? But science proves these benefits. The second protective group is broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables. These vegetables are powerful sources of sulforaphane, a compound that activates the NRF2 signaling pathway, responsible for detoxifying the brain and protecting neurons. In simpler terms, sulforaphane works as a cleaning system for your brain, removing toxins and reducing inflammation. Additionally, it stimulates the production of BDNF, affectionately called the brain youth protein. Clinical studies demonstrate that elderly people who consume cruciferous vegetables 3 times a week show significantly larger hippocampal volume. The hippocampus is the brain region responsible for memory, and maintaining its volume is essential for preventing dementia. Have you included broccoli in your menu this week? If not, this might be one of the best decisions for your brain. The third star on our list is beetroot. This vibrant red tuber increases cerebral blood flow thanks to natural nitrates that convert to nitric oxide in the body. A study from Wake Forest University discovered that regular consumption of beetroot improves oxygenation in brain areas associated with dementia, resulting in better cognitive performance in just 6 weeks. 6 weeks. We're not talking about years of treatment, but a relatively short period to start noticing improvement. Beetroot also contains betaine, which reduces homocysteine levels, a well-established risk factor for Alzheimer's. Do you have difficulty including beetroot in your diet? Try adding it to juices, grated in salads, or roasted as a side dish. Your brain will thank you. Let me share another real case that demonstrates the power of these dietary changes. Carlos, 72 years old, switched his daily iceberg lettuce salad for a mix of dark green leaves, added broccoli 3 times a week, and began including beetroot regularly. This change seems simple, doesn't it? He didn't need expensive medications or invasive treatments, just substituted a few items in his diet. After 2 months, my wife noticed the difference even before I did. I started remembering details from conversations, movie names, and even stopped constantly losing my keys. Carlos's account perfectly illustrates how small changes can have big impacts. Can you imagine what it would be like to recover these cognitive abilities that perhaps you thought were lost forever? The most fascinating thing is that these simple dietary substitutions can produce noticeable results in weeks, not years. The brain, even after 60, maintains remarkable plasticity. and responds quickly to appropriate nutritional interventions. Neuroplasticity is this incredible ability our brain has to adapt and form new connections throughout life. Many people mistakenly believe that after a certain age, the brain becomes fixed and incapable of improvement. But modern science demonstrates exactly the opposite. Now, how can you implement these changes in your daily routine? Start by gradually substituting iceberg lettuce with dark green leaves in your salads. Try adding a handful of spinach to your morning juice or smoothie. The flavor is mild and the benefits are immense. For cruciferous vegetables, try consuming broccoli, cauliflower, or cabbage at least 3 times a week. They can be consumed raw in salads, steamed as a side dish, or even roasted with a drizzle of olive oil and spices for more intense flavor. As for beetroot, besides the forms I've already mentioned, you can try beetroot juice. Studies show that just 150 ml per day already offers significant benefits for cerebral circulation. If you have sensitivity to nightshades, do a simple test. Eliminate eggplants, tomatoes, and peppers from your diet for 2 weeks and observe if there are improvements in your mental clarity. Then, reintroduce them one at a time and monitor how you feel. This type of personal experiment can reveal sensitivities you would never have suspected. Another important recommendation is to give preference to organic vegetables whenever possible. To minimize exposure to artificial nitrates and pesticides that can negatively affect brain health. If budget is a concern, prioritize buying organic only for the vegetables you consume most frequently. Based on decades of neurological research and recent studies from renowned universities, I can state with conviction, your daily vegetable choices can be the difference between a brain that ages prematurely and one that remains agile and resilient for decades. Protection against dementia can begin with your next lunch. The choice is literally in your hands. Have you ever imagined that something as simple as changing the vegetables on your plate could have such a profound impact on your mental health? This is one of the beauties of nutritional medicine. Simple, accessible, and powerful solutions for problems many consider inevitable. Remember, aging is inevitable, but aging with a healthy brain is a choice we make 3 times a day, at each meal. The vegetables you choose today are building the brain you'll have tomorrow. And it's never too late to start. Even people in their 8th or 9th decade of life can observe significant improvements by making these changes. Before finishing, I want to ask you a question. After all this information, what change do you plan to implement first in your diet? Will it be adding more dark green leaves, including broccoli a few times a week, or perhaps experimenting with beetroot in a new and creative way? Share in the comments below your choice, and if you've already tried any of these changes, tell us what results you observed. If this content was useful to you or someone you love, don't forget to leave your like and share it so more people can benefit from this important information. Subscribe to the channel for more content about brain health, nutrition, and wellness. Remember that taking care of your brain means caring for the essence of what makes us human, our memories, our personality, our ability to connect with others. And as I always say, preventive medicine is the best investment we can make in ourselves. This is Dr. Emily Carter, your partner on the journey to a healthy mind at all stages of life. Until the next video, and remember, your brain deserves the best, and the best begins on your plate. Tentar novamente.